The challenge of the teacher to teach this topic is to be aware, to be consider about the culture aspect, the difference for the student, and the way how the student be raised from different background. It will be fantastic if the teacher more aware about that.
So I think with the concept of religion and sexuality, it's not such a big issue. It's not such a big issue because it doesn't have I don't know about in Hinduism much, but with Buddhism I don't think it has specific no's. But culturally it's a no. It's more cultural than religious. That's my understanding. And I think with Islam and Christianity, they're both so much alike. It's amazing why we think it's different. That's what I would say to the religious part of if you're taking sexual education, because I think the religious part you can then stress on the relationships with religion, within religion, which will be more useful.
We raise our children depend our culture and our religion, and our children they not allowed to have sex until they get married. The boys should be teach from their father, and the mother should teach her girls, her daughters about the changes of their body. But for me, I did the two roles for my sons and for my daughter.
Personally, I will struggle to teach sexuality education with my children. I would rather like it to be done by the school, because I don't come from a culture that we openly spoke of those things at home.
It's still kind of a little bit of, not really taboo, but not a comfortable topic between parents and children in the house. But we tend to use normally the aunties and some friends to talk to kids about that.
If you're a teacher, I think that you should go and approach some of the family members or maybe the community. Usually these kids who are coming from other countries, they have a representative in the community. So the teachers can approach that representative and then ask them how they can go about it to deliver the sexual education to the kids. Because normally in their countries, instead of going directly to the child, it's done through the relatives, the aunts or the uncles. So the kids might not want to participate because they say, oh, at home we are not allowed. But if the teacher puts it to the parents that way, I think it can help.
From our perspective, someone strange or a nurse from a hospital or health educator coming to the school to delivering this topic, it will be big issues for the parents. So if it can training teacher, it will be better and more trustable from the parent.
When you're teaching sexual education, you're teaching about the reproductive organs, but you're teaching about how to look after yourself and everything. But when you say sexual education, the multicultural communities might be thinking, why are such things taught? Because such subjects are taught in other countries, but they go as health education. So I think when you are terming things, it's not to mislead, but if you can term it differently, then there will be less anxiety among the parents.
It's maybe important or useful if we use other words. So instead of saying sex, we could have other words like puberty information or reproduction, things like that which are less confronting to all. And it might be specific cultural groups also who say, oh, I don't want to talk about this topic or this word, I can't hear it, it's not appropriate for my religion. But if you talk about reproduction, yeah, they'll be interested.
I think AIDS happening in Africa is quite prevalent, and kids get really exposed to it at a very young age, and they get to know it. There's a lot of stigmatization as well to it, and kids, it's kind of fearful as well when they, sexuality is talked about, is discussed. It's always associated with that AIDS, death, and some kids have seen it with their own eyes, and some kids really have lost mothers, parents through that. So it's really not so comfortable a subject. I suppose if it's not linked to death, I would say, to disease, if it's just sexuality and not really linked to these other seemingly negative things, that kind of language would be appropriate.
I have a problem that schools or the education system is constantly worried about the cultural diversity when they come to a basic thing of education. Why are we not asking whether maths should be taught or science should be taught? We are not asking those things. And why are we asking this subject only?